So welcome to part 2 of our 2-part interview with Pastor Woody Scott. I really hope that you were inspired by part 1. Chances are, if you're watching this, you were. And part 2 is even better. As we travel to Dane, Virginia to get it started, where Woody was born, where Woody grew up and experienced a lot of things in regards to segregation as he's getting ready to share. So let's jump in and get started.
But this was the old train station.
Yeah.
And they talked about doing it, fixing it up. Now, the way it was set up, Brian, whites went in on this side.
Yeah.
And the blacks had to come through here. And they used to have a sign, they took it down.
Yeah.
And said, colored. This was the drugstore. It had the pharmacies where people came and got their medicine. The clinic, the hospital was over top of this building. And this was the drugstore. And all the way in the back was where you go and fill you up and get your medicine. And then there was a counter here that people could come in and eat, and they had stools lining the counter, and they served. And this was the place where blacks could come in and get something, but they weren't allowed to sit down at the counter, just similar to the Walgreens thing, I guess, if you want to go that way. But I remember my mom one day when I had to come to the clinic and get a shot. And I used to hate to take shots, and they had a hard time giving me a shot. And she told me, she said, if you get your shot and won't act up, I'll get you a milkshake. And so I did, and so she brought me here to get a milkshake. And she took me in and she sit me on the counter. I can look in here, I can remember the exact place I was sitting. I was about 5 or 6 years old. And she sit me on the counter and ordered my milkshake. She didn't sit down. She did not sit down, but she sit me on the stool. And I love to spin around on the stool, so I was spinning around on the stool. And I noticed the lady that was waiting on us kept looking at me. And so after they fixed the milkshake, she put it in a bag and she set it on the counter. And I remember my mom taking it out of the bag, sitting it on the counter and saying, he doesn't know anything about this mess. She was a proud woman, but she obeyed the law, but she wasn't going to let me not be. And she let me sit there, and she stood there, and I was able to sit there and drink my milkshake.
I mean, maybe sometimes we look to the government or to politicians to change things. Mm-hmm. And we know from experience here, you can make a law, but does it change the heart?
Doesn't change the heart. Come on then.
And so we've seen that now for many years. The JFK, obviously, there was lots of things ushered in during that period that was super great for our country. But if a man or woman in their heart has hate, then really all a law does is push them even further over the edge.
Yeah. My goal was to, and I went back, I listened to Dr. King's, all his speeches and stuff like that, and I always said, I want to make the dream a reality. Yeah. And, and I hear people say, don't forget the dream, hold on to the dream, but mine was, let's make the dream a reality. And little black boys, little white girls, little black white boys, little black girls, walking together hand in hand, and I said, let's make it a reality. Let's work at doing that. And I remember one of the things that Dr. King's father said, and you don't hear people talk about it much, even when the young girls were blew up and they blew his church up. He said, I refuse to hate. I won't give Satan the credit of causing me to hate as much as that hurt. And I'm sitting there going, wow.
Yeah.
But see, I didn't know, I hadn't thought about, didn't know these things, and hadn't took time to listen to these things until God began to change me. Yeah. And as I say, when you start praying, Lord, search me and know my heart, God will search you. Yeah. And he will show you things. And so there was things. And so I hate people's ways. I ain't done. I hate people's ways. I hate, things to do. And so I hate the ways, and I hate the hate, and I hate all those things, but I don't have to hate the person. Right. My granddad was in World War I. T.B. Scott, Touchbury Scott was his name. T.B. Scott, and he that's his name. He was originally from Eastover, South Carolina.
Okay.
Came up here to work in coal mines. But anyway, he was in World War I. And he told us, he said, and we were always taught by Granddad, my dad, and all, you serve your country, you do your duty. That's what was preached, and that's one of the things. Me and my cousin, all of us, they had to draft, but I volunteered during the Vietnam War. But my granddad said, boy, they took us over on that ship, and we fought and everything. When they came back, as they were coming off the ship, soldiers to the right, inward to the left.
Really?
Yeah, my dad, and still couldn't vote, couldn't eat certain way. My dad was in the service during the Korean War. My uncle was in the Navy during World War II. Same thing. They served, but they couldn't vote, couldn't eat certain places and all these things. But we were still taught to serve our country. Despite all that, we were taught, you serve your country. You serve your country.
And this is your parents?
My dad, yeah.
And your
my
grandparents
granddad,
teaching
yeah.
you
You
these
serve
things.
your country.
Even though this country was against them in a large respect,
Yeah.
they're still teaching.
Yeah, yeah. And so Vietnam was going on in 1970. It was going to end in 1973, I think. I graduated on a Friday night. Monday, I was in Paris Island.
Wow.
Yeah. And I served my country. 6 years I served my country. My cousin, he ended up in Germany. He served his country. And like I say, I joined. He got drafted, and I got drafted after I left. Then they drafted me 2 weeks after I was in Paris Island and stuff. But we were taught that, even with the, and there was a time that, and all these things came to me as God began to deal with me about, they could have preached hatred, and I don't do this and that, but they didn't. You serve your country. You serve your country, and that's what we were taught, and that's what it was,
Wow.
And that's something we kind of have let go now. I didn't push that on my son. I pushed college on him, Yeah. And but back then, you serve your country.
And I see that generational thing going on with you guys. Like you pushed him into college, and he's a physical therapist now, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's one of the things that's important to me is that the next generation gets it better than even I did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think even for me now, I want my kids to get it better. And that not only does that include economically, but that includes, with race and with all those things. And so I'm thankful to live in the area that I live at now, because there's so many things that would not be exposed to my kids if it had not been. Yeah.
And you see, a lot of things that I'm telling you about, riding on the back of the bus, not eating in the dining car, and all these things like that, that was the law.
Yeah.
That was the law.
Yeah.
So, people followed the law.
Yeah.
Now, the discrimination part came along, which, like I say, with a gun pointed at my head, and I know why, when I get stopped or got arrested, because, and that's part of it. That was outright prejudice, But, so when the things changed, the law changed that we could. And here's something else that I found out and I hadn't even thought about, but I'll tell you again, and I've mentioned this before. We can go to school together. We can work together. We can make the same kind of money and all those things and still not be together.
Yeah. That's for sure.
And so you had integration, but the prejudice was still there.
Yeah.
And the hatred was still there. And for me, it was reversed. I hated people because of the color of their skin. And I had a boss one day, and he asked me, he worked for him. He was from Minnesota, come like that. And he said, I'm sure your church is mostly black. I said, nope. and then he turns around. He comes in the next day like this, and he says, I know there's times that you probably want it to be white. And I'm going, nope. I said, why would I want to be something I hated?
Yeah.
I said, oh, you guys were the devil. I said, that's what I said. I had 2 years of that pumped into me.
Right.
That you were the devil.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to be the devil.
Right.
and stuff. But he took the time to get to know me. He took the time to realize what I was about, and that I was serious about what I was doing. And when he left there that day, when he got ready to leave, I don't know if he just retired or whatever he did, and came out, and I was going to shake his hand. He said, no, so give me a hug. He said, if there's anybody that's changed my life, it's been you.
Wow.
And it was all because I refused to hate him.
Yeah.
And I knew white folks that hated him too, you know. But I refused to hate him. I refused. And
so isn't that interesting though that obviously he was speaking out of ignorance.
Yeah.
I mean, just completely. But it would be easy to take offense.
Yeah.
And you would be justified in doing so, I think. But you're choosing not to take it that way. You were able to go beyond his ignorance because of your persistence and love.
Yeah.
And wow, what an amazing story.
You remember when you and Mark, you and your brother went with me to this church?
Oh, I remember. And we had on shorts. And here you go. I didn't know where we were going for sure. And we walk in, we're the only two white guys there. And we got shorts on. And I think we had flip-flops on too.
Yeah, I believe you did.
And I was like, oh my God.
But they treated you nice.
Oh yeah, well nobody acted like anything was different.
I was with me and stuff.
And everybody was like dressed.
3-piece.
Yes, and here we are like.
I remember that. I remember
like
that.
Gomer Pyle over in the corner.
Yeah, I remember that. That was so funny. I remember Mark said, "We all right?" I said, "Yeah, you're all right. Come on."
So when we talk about race and we talk about the things that are going on today, and like what I hear people say, and I'm a pastor, and you're a pastor, when people say, "Well, Jesus is the answer," I'm like, "Well, yeah, He is the answer. There's no doubt." We need to pray. Yes, we need to pray. There's no doubt about that. But personally, I feel like that a lot of times we want to, and we believe that it's true, and we believe in the power of prayer, but we either don't, or we are not for sure exactly where to go forward. I mean, like to sit down and have this conversation is something that everybody needs to do, whether it's on a video or not. Just to get to know their neighbors and just to get to know people's struggles. But from your take on things, where's the church in all this? Where's the average Christian, regardless of color, in all this? What should we be doing?
And that's you said the main word, get to know. There has to be communication. We've got to talk. And that was one of the things that I said to my son here with this. I said, until you tell your story, folks will never know. I said, we've got to talk. We got to talk about it without getting mad. And so we have to talk, and we have to visit one another. We have to spend time with one another. And so you may have someone say, "Well, I'm afraid." Do it scared.
Yeah.
Just do it scared. Yeah. Go see anyway. But it's going to take communication, and it's going to take that loving past the hurt, loving past the anger, and taking that time to really talk. You never know if you don't talk.
Right.
You never know. And so that, yes, Jesus is the answer. And love's the answer. And Jesus is love. And it all goes together. But I don't think we'll ever know if we don't talk. And I think that's one of the things that maybe is happening, that we're talking. And I did another Dr. King thing for the UVA Wise, University of Wise, and stuff. And there was something happening. I can't even remember what it was. And you know me, I love my music stuff. And so we're in this church, and the pastor was there, and he wasn't feeling good that day, but he was helping us and stuff. And I think it's Church of God, I believe it was. And so our band was there, and so we going through all the formalities and stuff. I told you, I said, play Love Train.
Love Train.
People all over the world join hands. They started a love train.
Oh, really?
Black, white, got together. They were going all over that church, joining hands, doing a love train. The preacher that was sick, not feeling good, I looked over there. He was right in the middle of the lane and stuff. He was going and stuff. But it's so, like I say, I remember all these songs and things that coming back that we're kind of putting in, but they meant something. Mm-hmm. People all over the world join hands, start a love train. Love train, and all my brothers, wherever, Africa, Israel, Egypt, Russia, China too, and so they made, Curtis Mayfield was on the right track, man. The OJs were on the right track, and they sung about songs and stuff, but there, as I say, as you see all the things that are happening that's bad, you see a lot of good things, and I choose to focus on those good things and do my best to change the bad. And I think that's what we do. You and I together, we can make a difference. You and I together can make a difference. If we're talking, if we're reaching out, if we're making a difference, and trying to understand, that part of understanding. And
I think your situation is very unique in the fact that you pastor a church with 95% white people in it. And that obviously I've never in my 25 years of knowing you have ever felt like uncomfortable, never felt like that there was some type of malice or racial issues or any kind. I'd be honest with you, I don't know that I ever have from anybody in the church anytime I've ever been here. But so it's interesting, I guess, because the deeper in the South you go, it's usually probably more predominantly one or the other. And you've got a very unique situation in that. Your dynamic of the church is really similar to the dynamic of the whole community itself, as far as percentages and numbers.
And people hurt. People need to be loved. They hurt. Family dies. And many of them, I feel a part of. I'm a part of the family. I've got young ministers here. I've got 15 preachers here, and they're my spiritual kids. I hate it when people say, "Well, I don't see color." Yeah, you got to see color. If you're looking at me, I don't see color. Yeah, I'm black. But you see the color, but it shouldn't matter.
No, right.
It shouldn't matter. And so that's what's been.
Because I think people should be proud of whatever color they are.
Oh yeah.
I don't think.
I wouldn't be who I was.
Right.
If it wasn't black.
It's your story.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that a lot. I have my story. I mean, we grew up obviously very poor, single mom. We've had lots of battles, lots of issues. Not the same type of issues.
Right.
But I feel responsible though. I feel like a lot of people do feel responsible for trying to make it right. Because it's not okay to just say, well, that's how it used to be and do nothing. It's not okay to just say, well, I'm not a racist, and then leave it at that. I think we got to do more. We got, like you've been saying, we got to talk about it.
And that was one of the things my pastoral care pastor was saying. The young man, I told you that I'm preparing this stuff, and he said, I'll never take it for granted anymore. And where I see a chance for me to make a change and speak up, I'm going to, because of what you mean to me, And he said, I never ever thought about it. I never ever thought about your story, what you went through. And he said, I'll never take it for granted anymore. And he said, I can speak up. If it's around somebody and they're negative, I can say, wait a minute.
Right.
In the morning when I rise, in the morning when I rise, in the morning when I rise, give me Jesus, give me Jesus, give me Jesus. You can have all this world, but give me Jesus. Every moment of my life, every moment of my life, every moment of my life, give me Jesus, give me Jesus, give me Jesus. You can have all this world, but give me Jesus. And when I come to die, oh, when I come to die, oh, when I come to die, give me Jesus, give me Jesus. That's it.